Hi, welcome to the Closet Philosophy Podcast. This is Janine. I'm a personal stylist.
And this is Kristen. I'm a fashion writer, and we're here to uncover the ways that your personal style is so much more than just clothes.
Whether you realize it or not, what you wear touches on science, psychology, culture, politics, and so much more. We're so excited today to have Heidi Clements. She is a 64-year-old content creator, writer, and master storyteller with 1.8 million followers between Instagram and TikTok. She's been helping women at any age let go of cultural expectations and to help them find their personal style. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. I'm a big fan of both of you.
So
Thank
cool.
you, Heidi. We are so excited to have you here. And so I wanted to just kick things off by asking you, you've held so many roles in your career, which of course I know because I obsessively follow your page. Um, so, I mean, you've been a TV writer, you've done various other things. And at this, with what you're doing now, you seem like you've really found a powerful voice with this current platform. And I'm just curious to hear what was your evolution from TV writer to all of these other things that you've done to today?
I think that, like most people, the pandemic happened and it kind of knocked everybody for a loop and it took everybody out of their regular jobs. I was working as a TV writer before that, but the show had ended and then the pandemic hit and I was like, wow, what am I going to do now? And I got bored and I started making pizza. I had a pizza business and then I started posting my outfits on Instagram because I realized that everybody was wearing sweatpants every day, which I love sweatpants. I'm actually about to get back into a sweatpant thing because I'm tired of getting dressed, sort of. And so I started posting my outfits to my 4,000 followers on Instagram, and nobody cared. Nobody commented. Nobody said anything except for my friend Krista, who was very big on TikTok. And she said, you need to be on TikTok. The girls will love you. And I said, they will eat me alive. But I did it anyway. And you can literally see the evolution of my account on TikTok until they take it down, because it started with me just in an outfit, standing there like an idiot. And then my friend Krista said, well, maybe you could tell a story, or maybe you could give some advice, or maybe you could say something, because everything that you say really resonates with me. And I really think it's important for the girls on TikTok. So I started telling stories. And again, you can literally see how everything I've done is documented up until where I am now. And it literally just changed because I saw what people wanted, but I had no plan to be an influencer or creator. I had no plan. I didn't think I'd ever even get 10,000 followers. I was shocked. And I think the secret lesson that I learned is just do the things that you love, that bring you joy. Don't worry about the outcome, because you never know what could happen. My whole life is totally different than it was when I started this 2 years ago, and I never expected any of it.
Are there things that have come out of this? Like I think you've mentioned you've had a few writing jobs, and like, so are there more career path choices that have sort of come out of this that have
Yeah, I mean,
been
everything's come
exciting?
out of that because now I make money as a creator and I get brand deals. I don't take a lot of the brand deals. I was just writing a blog about this today, about the dilemma of the brand deal and who gets them and why they get them and how much they get paid and what they're like to do. And they're not my favorite thing. I don't like saying yes to a lot of them because I really respect the community that I've grown, and I don't want to sell them a bunch of shit from Amazon,
Mhm.
even if it's shit I love.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't think people need more. I mean, there's plenty of influencers who are doing that and making a shit ton of money, and kudos to them, but I just don't have the heart to do that. I actually care about the planet and our consumption. And yeah, I buy stuff. I just buy secondhand more. And if you see me in something new, it was probably gifted to me. So yeah, that's how it all started, and that's how I make money. I started doing some writing for local magazines here, but that really didn't have anything to do with the social media. That was just where I moved. They happened to run two magazines and hired me. But everything is coming from the social media platforms, and I think more importantly than making money is I have therapized myself on this app by telling the stories that I tell. And I've worked things out that troubled me because of the stories that I tell. And the way that I get to communicate with followers has really made this the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you've worked things out and it's almost like therapy for you? I think that's really interesting.
My writing has always been, I had a blog for a long time, and I would write a blog every single day, and it would just be sort of me freestyle thinking about something
Mhm.
and writing it and hitting send. I don't read it again, but it's like just saying it out loud and sort of working through it in my writing of it made me understand a certain problem more. And then hearing someone else's perspective on my problem made it a little bit more of a therapy session for me. And I think the interesting thing is like I'm always talking to me first, you
Mhm.
know, always. I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives. I'm trying to tell you like what I'm doing or what worked for me or, what I did in my past that I'm ready to let go of. It's always me talking to me first.
Mm.
So I think that's where the therapy comes in.
And and I also think that is really interesting because it's so relatable. And and I say like coming up with like relatable things to say. For me, like every time I try to be relatable, nobody there's like zero relatability. Like I don't know.
Well,
Then
I
I
don't
feel
believe
extra
that.
weird.
I follow you and I don't believe that for a second. But I
Mhm.
do think that it's that old adage of post like no one's watching, write like no one's reading, speak like no one's listening. Do it for you. Do it what resonates with you, what feels authentic to you, and people will find you. I think it's really hard for people to be authentic. It's really hard for people not to edit themselves.
Mm.
And
It's really
I
hard.
don't give a shit. I have no shame. If you don't like something I did in my past, you don't like the fact that I got an abortion. Well, lucky for you, you didn't have to go through it.
Mhm.
You don't like the fact that I talk about body dysmorphia because you think I'm skinny. Well, bully for you. I wish I felt that way. I don't have any shame about any of that. I'm just here to be me, and you can either sign up for it or not.
Mm. Were you always like that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's really great. And I think that's really interesting because, like, a lot of people, especially on my page, they talk about, like, how can you be authentic? What about what other people think? And for
Yeah.
me, it's always been the other option. Whenever I tried to fit in, it just failed miserably. When I was in high school and I tried to fit in, like everybody hated me and I hated everybody else and I ate lunch by myself. But then when I started to be myself, that's when people started to gravitate towards me and I, made my best friend who I'm still best friends with and all of that kind of stuff. And so every time it's like the option to be yourself is always worth the risk for me.
Yeah.
But for like, I don't know if it's like that for other people.
I
And
mean, look, I think society is getting better about accepting weirdos. I was born in 1960, and so being the kind of person that I was not acceptable. I was too loud. Um, I had too many opinions. It wasn't right that I was single at 40 and didn't have kids. Like everybody had an opinion about how I should live my life. And it's really not until I got older and turned 60 and started posting about all of these things and saying them out loud that I realized how much I had suffered as a kid for being different or not having the same opinion as everybody else. And so, yes, I was always confident and always authentic, but it didn't always feel good.
mm,
Now it feels good because I don't care. I think it didn't feel as good because I cared, but I still was always me.
Mm.
And now
And
you're getting extremely positive feedback from being yourself, which
I
must
get
feel good.
incredible, I get incredible feedback. I would not be, I mean, my skin is not that thick. I don't think I would be on these apps if when I first started, people were like, shut the fuck up, old sea hag.
mm,
Well,
Which
thank God that did not happen.
I've seen them say on other people's pages. But I didn't think that anybody would say that to me. I never even thought somebody would say that. I just thought they're not going to care when I said like, oh, they'll eat me alive. I just meant like, oh, they won't care about me. It'll
mm,
just be crickets again. And so if if they had come on and been really mean, I think this would be a very different origin story that I tell.
mm.
It'd be like, I was on TikTok for 1 week. The end. I don't know. Maybe the universe wanted my voice to be heard. Maybe it was just all a matter of timing and messaging and maybe people are nicer to 64-year-olds because we're frail and old.
I don't know. I think that yeah, um, I think you hit on something that people really wanted and needed
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
time.
And it's easy for me to be authentic, but I don't know if it's easy for everybody else, and that's okay. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Say one thing that terrifies you to say out loud.
Yeah.
The worst that could happen. Somebody tells you it's stupid, that's usually their fear. It's also like, knowing what to do with the messages that you get, not necessarily paying attention to the shitty ones and realizing that that person should be speaking to a mirror with their problems and not you.
Oh, 100%. Like when
100%,
I get
yes.
comments like that, like, and it's so crazy because I can get like 1,000 positive comments. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then like somebody will say something, like get that ring out of your nose or something
Yeah.
like that. And then I go look at their page and I'm like, I would never take advice from you.
Yeah. I like to shame those people and publicly post them.
No, yeah. And
I
so that,
never, yeah, I don't get upset about I love a good clap back. I don't get upset about the looks stuff as much as somebody says, oh, you're old, shut up, go wear something your age, whatever. I get upset about more comments about being Jewish and people
mm,
thinking that I want to murder everybody in Gaza. I don't. I don't
um,
think it's cute that the president is saying he wants to build beachfront property in Gaza. Like, go fuck yourself. But I am Jewish and I do care about the people of Israel. And people don't like that. They don't see that you can see both ways. So that stuff upsets me deeply, and I end up not posting about it. But you could say whatever you want about my looks or my style or my age. Like, I don't care. That's your issue, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. That's the Yeah, it's so hard because like even, when you're not Jew like people comment things like that on my page too. I'm indigenous and they say, "Well, how come you didn't talk about the people of Gaza?" And I was like,
I mean, they
"Well,
really got on one. They really indoctrinated our youth with this particular argument. And I wish that they cared about lots of things. It's horrible what happened. I mean, absolutely fucking horrendous.
yeah,
But
I
like, I'm also Jewish, and it doesn't mean I wished that.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
never
it's
going
hard
to
for
solve
people to
that.
understand. Yeah, it's hard for some people to understand that two things can be true at the
Yeah,
same time.
there's no nuance. But the
Yeah.
other stuff doesn't upset me. You could say whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah. You have mentioned like on social media that when you had turned 50, you felt like you lost your style.
Yeah.
And then you found it again and you were dressing for yourself and not for the male gaze. Can you tell us a little bit more about that evolution?
Yeah, it's really funny. I finally, for the first time the other day, somebody asked me like if I could just sort of nail down how I dress. And I just said, basically Billie Eilish. Although she probably wouldn't wear this, but she might.
I think
If
she
she were, yeah,
totally would.
if
Yeah.
she were older. Yeah, I think that, yeah, you don't even realize why you're dressing how you're dressing sometimes. And I feel like the whole concept of like tight clothes and sexier clothes was such a huge part of my life and how I thought I was supposed to dress that I was always miserable because anytime I gained a pound or two, or actually was my normal body weight and not starving myself, I hated being in tight clothes. And so I just started wearing bigger, fitted, manly, boyish kind of clothes. And I felt better, even though my I feel fine about my body now, I kept that style. I didn't be like, "Ooh, I'm skinnier again. I'm going to go wear the tight clothes." That was really it. I didn't know how to like funkify my look really, and I just started watching other kids and being like, "Oh, I like that outfit. I could pull that off. Oh, that's fun. I could definitely wear that." And it's all about like the confidence that you have when you get dressed. And I had zero confidence about what I was wearing in my 50s because I was no longer getting the male gaze because once you hit 50, it's like they can smell that you can't have a baby anymore. And so they run away. They run somewhere away from you because you don't matter anymore. Because once you lose your sexuality, which we don't, you're no longer important to men. And so I don't know that I really was dressing for the male gaze, but I was dressing based on what the male gaze told us we should wear, if that makes sense. And once I threw that out and just started wearing what I like, I was like, oh, this is way more fun.
Mm.
That makes any sense? I'm not sure. Did
I
that make
It
think
totally makes sense.
I think so. It's such
Yeah.
a weird thing, like this idea of the male gaze, and like it's all around us. It's all
Oh
around,
yeah.
and it's almost like being a fish in water, and it's like really difficult to say like, oh, like I'm dressing for the female gaze, like, but like, are we or are we not? Like, and it's really difficult to say, but this idea of dressing for comfort, for mobility, for creative expression, and not for sexual availability, I think
Yeah.
is a powerful statement. And so I think that you could definitely see that in your outfits. Like there's a lot of creativity and a lot of play and a lot of joy. And I think that that's really cool to see, especially at this phase in life when so many women are so afraid to stick out. They're afraid of being seen and they're afraid of their bodies even. And it's important that people like you are out there and showing that you can be creative and fun and you don't have to worry about what other
It's not
people
that
think.
big a deal. Just like if you feel good in it, wear it. Like,
Yeah.
who cares what some stranger on the internet says? Can I see your outfit checks? Are you posting them?
What are you
Ma'am,
wearing?
sir, it's usually a dude.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I know that it's hard to turn down the volume on other people's negativity, but it's just such a wasted thing to listen to. Like, you should never define yourself by what somebody else says about you. Who cares what that person thinks? Like, who
Yeah.
cares? I don't
Yeah.
know anybody that could tell me I've never in my life ever said to someone, "What do you think of this outfit? Should I wear this or should I wear these pants? Do you like this top?" Never, not once, ever. I
Hmm.
don't care. It is what I want to wear. It is my body. I'm putting it on. I don't care if it's on trend. I don't care if you think it's cool. I don't think if you think I'm too old to wear it. I know when I put it on, whether it's a good outfit or a bad outfit. Someone else could say to me, "Oh my God, I love that outfit." I'm like, not feeling it." You must feel your best in your clothes. You must feel like they are just part of who you are that day. Not,
Mm.
don't let your clothes wear you. You must wear your clothes. And I think that's my rule of getting dressed. Yeah.
How do you know? Like, how do you like, are you aware of the process that when you like something and you don't like something? and when you see
Yes.
something that works and when it doesn't work.
Yeah, I do. I don't include the stuff that, I mean, it's rare that I put something on and take it off and go, no, I don't like that. Rare. I just pick and put together, and I don't know. I just know. I don't know.
So you're not changing outfits a whole lot. You're just like thinking about what you want to wear and throwing it on.
No, you could never come into my house and see a pile of clothes that I tried on, and this was the winner. Does never. I put one thing on and was like, okay, that looks good. I just kind of know, I guess.
Mm,
I
yeah.
posted an outfit once that I thought was horrible and people liked it. And I even said, like, we can't all be winners. Here's a big fat loser. And people were like, I love it. So I don't know. But yeah, I just feel it. And if
Mm.
I
I
put it
think
on
you're
and I don't,
very,
Where do you feel it in your body? I always ask my clients this. Where do you feel it in your body
it's
when
a
you know?
visual thing for me.
It's a visual thing.
Yeah. It's a visual of that color with that pattern with that length with that cinching with that. It's just a visual. I can see how it's gonna hold together because I know how my clothes fit or how that particular outfit fits.
have you ever done any visual arts?
Nope, always just been a writer. I don't
Okay.
even know anything about style or fashion. I just, people have asked me to do style classes. I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know.
Mm. I
Or
mean,
they're
I mean, I almost want to push back on this because,
you
sorry.
and the person that would like me to talk about it.
Yeah. So because it seems like even as you're literally telling a story, you are visually telling a story with your clothes.
Hmm.
And so, and I think, I mean, and I can see that, like, especially now, like hearing the process of how you got to where you are today, telling the story of following your instinct and following what is comfortable for you and what feels right and what feels good. And like kind of you can almost like see that navigation in your clothes and your outfits as well. And so, and I do feel like there's always a focal point. There's always something like a morsel in your outfits.
Hmm.
There is also a morsel in your story.
Hmm.
And so, I
Good
mean,
to know.
yeah.
Happy accident.
Happy accident. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I went to art school and a lot of times people can't really describe their visual process, like even like artists and stuff. A lot of times the teacher would give us a brief and we'd do our assignment and we'd come back for the critique and like we'd make up the story and we don't know like why we did it. It's just like we just did it. And then
Yeah,
afterwards we'd come back with the story of the meaning of all of the things. And so sometimes like your body knows the story and even before your brain does.
maybe. I mean, the way that I work is I try to bank outfits.
Mm,
And then in the morning, I sit down and write what that story is going to be. I send myself notes throughout the day of things that are interesting to me. And I stopped being so precious about it because I never wanted to repeat myself. But it turns out only 1 to 5% of your audience sees everything you do.
mm,
So I try to recraft something around that I an idea that I might have talked about before, but I myself am always laughing at how the edit, which I do first before I do the voiceover, sometimes lines up with what I'm saying.
mm.
Kind of
Yeah.
a happy fluke. Sometimes makes me think that, oh, well, you are meant to do this because look at how that's all lining up perfectly. So I do think it's a bit of a happy accident, but there might be some subliminal or spirit guides playing a part in what I'm doing, which I always believe is part of my process. I have help. They're just very quiet.
Is there ever anything that you've written and then you have an outfit that you've banked and you're like, "Oh, this is going to go well with that particular outfit," or is it more just happens
Just
as
happened.
you're putting it together? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely had an outfit and then written a story and thought, oh, this would work better with a different outfit. I've definitely, that's happened for sure.
Hmm.
But it's rare. It's rare.
Hmm. And how did you come up with that particular format, like that you were gonna be
Fuck if
getting
I know.
dressed? A
Again,
lot of happy accidents, right?
happy accident, no plan, laziness of not wanting to make a lot of content. I do not like making content. I like the piece of content that I make. And then you'll also see me do stories throughout the day that are a little different, that are a little bit more about my opinion or stuff I like or stuff I'm doing. But anytime I sit down to sort of make content, I hate it.
Hmm.
I do the same thing everybody else does. That's not funny. Why would you say that? Why would you do that? Right? Like I read too much into it. And so I just post the one thing I post and then I post some stories. Every once in a while I post something different, but I really just wanted to keep it simple so that I could always do it from anywhere. And
Hmm.
I thought it was really easy for brand deals to see that they could just pop themselves into my bathroom. Although my manager thinks I would get better, more brand deals if I broke out of my bathroom. But I'm tired of arguing with him about that because I just don't want to do it.
Where does he want you to go? Like in a different room or just
Yeah, I think he likes all the stories where I start blathering about my personal opinion, and he thinks those should all be reels or TikToks, and I just don't feel it.
mm,
Like a story goes away, you know? As I said the other day, I would like to find the hour button on stories because I'm not sure anything I say really should be up for 24 hours, but an hour would be good. But that's me talking about, like freeze-dried candy or, something stupid that Trump did. And I don't know that I want that out there forever. Like my reels feel like little pieces of art, you know, just little things that I can just leave out there, and that's enough for me. So it can't all be about making money, I guess.
Mm,
yeah.
Eventually, the right people will come along and I'll make the money that I need to make and everything will be fine.
I
yeah.
think for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, this is kind of like a nitty-gritty semi-personal question.
Oh, let's go. My
So,
favorite kind.
well, so I have noticed a lot of women doing their get ready with me videos starting out in their underwear,
Yeah, I
right?
used to be full bra and underwear.
I mean, I've done a few get ready with me. I've experimented with get ready with me videos and I've thought like, oh, maybe I should do that too. And I just like feel really uncomfortable. Like when I'm editing it, I just can't help but like edit out the part where I'm in my underwear. Like,
Yeah,
and so
I
I'm
think I've gotten used to it.
were you like comfortable with it from the get-go or
I
is that
mean, I'm
something?
not, yeah, I was in my underwear and a bra and I mean, I think I look okay. Wouldn't show like every angle of it, but it was literally just a tool to make the videos last longer. And so I just dealt with it. And I just didn't show every angle. Like I probably don't show my ass all the time, my back. But then I just started doing it in my bra because I don't care about a bra. It's the same as a bathing suit. And I don't care that I have stomach rolls. I mean, I do, but I don't. I just sort of, it's like the more I post it, the less I care about it. I think this whole process has made me hate my neck less and my wrinkles less. Because every day people say to you, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." I've never heard that word in my entire youth. No
Mm.
one ever said that to me. No one ever said, "Oh my God, you're so gorgeous and so perfect and so beautiful." Ever, never. People say it to me all the time, and I'm like, thanks, because I just showed you like 4 rolls of flab on my side and a saggy boob. Nice.
I,
Let's go.
I love that. Well, I think it's
I mean,
interesting, like when people start to, I feel like when I was younger, I was so critical of aging and like
Yes.
in aging and my body and all of that stuff. And then at one point, I decided to let it go. It was like the year I decided to stop doing Botox and stop dyeing my hair.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all of those things just kind of like melted away. And
Yeah.
so, and like now I feel like I look better, but I have the wrinkles, I have the sagging, I have all of the stuff. but that didn't change, but my perception changed.
Yeah. I mean, what if we lived in a country where, as you were growing up, they said every message was, oh my God, wait until you get wrinkles. It's the greatest thing. Wait until, oh, cellulite is so beautiful. If that was the messaging since we were born, then of course we would feel better about it. But it's not, because they fucking hate us, because they're terrified of us. Because when left to our best devices, we will take them all out. And so you really have to pay attention to where the messaging came from. It's not you that hates your body. I don't have body dysmorphia because I decided my weight was wrong. I have it because I was told I was fat when I was a kid, you know? It sticks with you. And so this has been really helpful for me and my body dysmorphia to feel better about it. I mean, I still say terrible things about my body, but I realize that I'm stupid, that I'm just being stupid, that it doesn't matter. But it really, I think being in my underwear helped, actually. So get out there, post something in your underpants, and tell everybody to fuck off.
Oh my gosh. One time on a live,
Words to live by.
I accidentally flashed somebody my boob on a live. On a live, I was changing my clothes and like I wasn't wearing a top, and then I was like, "Oops!" And
Like a
Well,
then
naked
guess what
boob, like a
happened?
full boob,
Nothing. Huh?
listen,
a full, like no bra.
No bra, boob. It was a
Wow.
man boob.
I could
It's
tell you worse.
Tell us, tell us.
I mean, I definitely I laugh about the boob because when I drank, I in my book I said if you lived in New York between like 1982 and 1996, you've seen my tits in a bar window because I was drunk and flashing constantly. But I literally just finished a new blog about the day that I got a DM that said, "Hey, I think you're showing a little bit more than you want to, and I'm really excited about it." And it was a dude, and I had totally shown my vagina. And I was a solid 300,000 views in before realizing it. And I was like, well, shit, if I take it down, I'm going to lose all those views and I'm going to lose that number. And I really could use those followers. But then it just got to me and I made it private because that's how you don't lose the followers. But as I said, it now sits in my private box waiting for TikTok to get banned. Me and my vagina will both finally officially get banned. But yeah, I did flash my vagina.
it's different when you're sober and doing it, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry to
probably
hear.
care a little bit more maybe when you're sober. I don't
I
know.
don't really think the vag is something I need to put out there. I don't care about the boobs so much. Definitely not a vag, but oh well.
Well, I
Um,
have to say, I really appreciate you sharing because I think I remember a post where you talked about you used to not wear necklaces because you didn't like your neck. And
Yeah.
I have that same like self-hatred of my neck sometimes. And just you showing that, I was like, it made me feel better. It made me, I guess you just feel less alone and you're like, everybody's neck gets wrinkled when they get older. And it's your neck and why and like you
Yeah.
said before
Stop
why
making me hate myself. Like I'm so
yeah
tired of men, because that's who's running all these companies, making me hate myself. Let's see your neck. What are you doing? You got a whole bunch,
yeah
you got a $65 billion amount of shit in your bathroom that people are making you use? I don't think so. I like all the potions and keeping my skin moisturized, but I'm not doing it to get rid of wrinkles.
mm,
Like, why? That they're the stories of my life. I like whatever. My neck is my neck. Like, if you don't like how I look, turn away.
yeah go
But
look at
stop
something
making
else.
me hate how I look, you know? Like, that's what I refuse to let happen. I refuse to let someone else make me hate myself. I can
mm,
do that all on my own.
I love that.
That's so good
So,
to remember.
so yeah, so I was like, while we're talking about this, I would love to hear. Um, so I'm a stylist and I talk with a lot of women in our age demographic, and a lot of women are kind of struggling to envision their power at this stage of life. They feel like it's past them in a lot of ways. And so What advice would you have for women at this stage of their lives who are struggling to connect with their identity and find their voice?
I think, you have to remember that the only age limit on life is death, that you can just keep doing and changing and shifting and making and creating. And it's like I said, you got to either turn down the volume of your own negativity, or you got to turn down the volume of everybody else's negativity and just go live your life. If you have an idea of something you want to do, go do it. Just do it. Baby steps to do it, but do it. Don't stop doing it before you even get out the door because you've added all these layers of what other people are going to think, or, oh, you're not really the right person. Just take all of that out and just take a step forward, take a baby step forward, take a little leap forward into what it is that you want to do. And don't judge yourself.
Don't judge yourself.
Everybody
Yeah.
else is going to do that for you. So don't be your own bully.
I also feel like, because I was a fashion blogger in the 2000s, 2010s, and I sold my blog. And then when I went returned to make content, pushing 50, like I'm going to be 50 in a couple of weeks, I literally thought that nobody wanted to hear my point of view. Like I literally thought, because I didn't see any other women at that time doing this. Now I do, but like I didn't see very many women. And I feel like even just putting your voice out there is like an inspiration for other women to also put themselves out there.
I
And
hope so. I would love it if more women literally just like dropped the shame and just carried on with their lives, doing what they want to do
mm,
unapologetically, the way most men live their lives. I was watching a group of like three white guys the other day, and I was just blown away by the way they were just ordering lunch at a deli. It was no way I've ever acted in my life with just such white male confidence. It was bizarre.
What was it
None
like?
of
Like,
them
what were
should have,
they?
just the way they spoke to the people behind the counter, the way they just were inserting them, so they just were confident, you know, and it was I could tell that it was baked into who they were. They weren't thinking about being confident. They weren't like, I'm just going to go order this way. I'm just going to, which is how I think a lot of women live, measuring everything we're doing, weighing how to say it, apologizing if we've done it the wrong way. And it was fascinating to just watch like three white guys just ordering lunch like they were the fucking kings of the universe. It was
mm.
crazy.
it's this is kind of not related, but in a way it is. So like when I'm driving and like I'm at a stop sign and then there's other cars or something like a car that I just know that there's this I'll just go. Like, just like I'll just motion with my hand, just go, go. And I was like, why can't I have that same energy in face to face? Yeah, just do it. Like it's cool, like and whenever I'm around people, I just can't help it trying to be pleasing and like
Oh God, yeah. Like I said, people pleasing is a fucking disease.
it
And I
really
no
is.
longer I'm cured.
How did
Like
you get cured from
Yeah,
that?
we need the I need the
Yeah.
antidote.
honestly, the greatest quote, and I posted it today. It's my favorite quote. It's from Glennon Doyle. And the quote is I'm gonna read it. Look, I hate when RFK Jr. pops up in my feed. Um,
Now that's somebody who needs moisturizer.
ugh, ugh. The quote is
Honestly.
every time you're given a choice between disappointing someone else and disappointing yourself, your duty is to disappoint that someone else. Your job throughout your entire life is to disappoint as many people as it takes to avoid disappointing yourself. And I read that quote in Glenn Doyle's book, Untamed, and it just smacked me in the face. Like I have gone through my entire life making sure nobody was disappointed, just people pleasing away. And I realized it's all from my unnurtured childhood. It's all because I was raised like a fucking wolf alone, never hugged, never said I love you, not like a normal child should be nurtured. And it made me people please and look for love in all the wrong narcissistic places. And it got me to where I am to the point where I just got so fed up and realized that's what I was doing that I just said no. And I don't, you have to live with people that might get upset that you are disappointing them. And I don't care. They're called boundaries and these are mine. And if you don't like them, fuck off and go find another friend. Um, I have confidence and fit and faith in the kind of friend I am, and I know that I'm worth having in your life. But I think we all have to be accepted with our own rules and boundaries. And I learned mine after reading that quote.
Yeah.
I'm here to disappoint people. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a really good thing to remember because I have a very I almost have like a fear of disappointing people.
Oh,
Like
fuck that.
like even strangers, like if I
Yeah,
see some people, like if I see an old couple walking down the street, I get worried that they might get disappointed because they look so happy right now.
yeah.
Like
Well,
it's a
that's
kind of
your
a disease.
childhood.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
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 Probably.
And I think, I talked about this the other day. I wish people did a little bit more work to try to discover why they feel the way they feel when they feel something trigger them, like really dive deep into why it's triggering you. Don't just accept it like, wow, like the disappointed thing, like find out why you feel that way and then fucking cut it out like a cancer.
Yeah. Calling my therapist as soon as we hang
Yeah,
up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Seriously.
Get to the
Yes,
bottom of that because that is a waste of time.
it
The only
is.
person you should be pleasing is you. I mean, in that sense of like sacrificing who you are, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it's important to know your boundaries and your limits and how you deal with people. And it's not just like a selfish thing either. Like Brene Brown did a study of where she interviewed people about their boundaries, and she found that the people who set the strong boundaries were among the most empathetic people. And if you
I'm
think
insanely empathetic. Yeah.
yeah, and it's because like, if you're not worried if somebody's taking advantage of you or if you're not worried about being walked all over, you can have the space to empathize with people,
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, not just for yourself, but for other people as well.
Yeah. I wish I knew it when I was younger. And I wish we taught people that, selfish is selfless and it's not a bad word.
Mm,
When it comes to certain aspects of your life, it's okay to be selfish.
yeah.
I totally agree with that. And I often think about also that like if I'm so concerned about someone else's disappointment or I'm worried about being selfish, it's actually not better for other people. Like it's better for other people if you know what you need and you kind of
Yeah.
show up for people
You show
as
up
your
for
full
them
self.
100%. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not showing up for you if I'm pissed that I'm there.
Yeah, like if I really didn't want to come, but I came anyway, like it's
Yeah.
not going to be
And
a great experience for anyone.
I always try, like I ask people all the time when they say, I was with someone the other day and they were so worried about how someone was going to react to the fact that they had to cancel a dinner plan. And I said, well, how would you feel if they canceled the dinner plan on you? And they were like, I'd be fine with it. And I said, then that's what you should worry. That's what you should have in your head. I'd be fine with it. They'll be fine with it, you know? And if
Yeah.
they weren't, then they're not really the kind of friend you should have in your life.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, we also wanted to ask, I think this is Kristen's story, but I wanted to get this
Uh,
before we wrapped
oh,
up. But the cool girl question, did you want to ask that?
oh, I
Yeah.
missed that one.
Yeah.
Did I delete that question? Oh my God, I wasn't scrolling down. Sorry. So sorry. Okay. Yeah, so this was a question I really wanted to ask you. I've thought a lot about like the cool girl trap. I've always kind of personally wanted to be the cool girl, and you seem like a cool girl, but who has evolved to like being a cool girl who doesn't care if other people think they're cool.
I love
If
when
that
people
makes any
say I'm cool.
sense.
I think it's so fun. I'm like, yeah, I did it. I'm cool. But
But but have
I'm
you
just
ever
me. And so I get that a lot now on my page. Like, I want to be as cool as you. And that is such a great compliment because to me, cool means unbothered, you know?
yeah.
And I love the idea of being an unbothered person. And I am unbothered, but not by, I don't live that way 100% of the time, and I would love to. So I think being cool is such a good compliment. It means like I want to hang out with them, or and I mean, I think I'm that kind of person, but I've never really thought about it that way. And I think being considered a cool person is cool. I'm into it.
Well, I think you're super cool.
Oh, thanks.
Um, I sometimes I think, we were talking, Janine and I were talking about how there can be a little bit of a negative connotation in a different way that a cool girl is imagined, in that you're unbothered about things that maybe you should be bothered about. Like, I'm imagining when I was in high school and a boy would say something rude about one of my friends, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. I wouldn't stand up for her because I wanted to look
Yeah.
cool in front of the boy, or things like
Ah,
that. Like, that's sort of the trap that I think is good to break out of. And you
it
know
only matters what girls think. It never matters what boys think. It only matters that other girls think you're cool. I don't care what boys think. I really don't. And I am straight as they come, but their opinions can all suck it in every aspect of every way. They're just too black and white. They don't see color. They don't like they're fine. Like I like guys. I like how they look. I like their bodies. But I just don't care what they think. Probably why I've been single for 24 years, but um I think the cool girl to me is somebody who doesn't get bothered, who doesn't care what people think about their outfits, and who is a good person to be around and a fun person to be around.
yeah, that is all very cool.
So off
Yes.
date. I like that if that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Me too. Yeah. And so we talked previously when I interviewed you for the article,
Yeah,
about your
people
young
lost their minds, by the way. Like, oh my God, you're in Forbes?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's
Okay.
great. That's good. But yeah, one of the things, well, I guess the whole point of the article, or the reason why I was interviewing you, was that you have these younger listeners, which I think is
Yeah.
so, or not listeners, but
Well, followers,
followers,
but yeah,
followers.
they listen.
Yeah. And I think that is just fascinating, and I'd love to talk about that just a little bit and ask, like, why do you think they're so attracted to your content? How have you bridged that generational divide?
I think part of it is that I dress a lot younger than most women who are 64. And so like I said, I do dress like Billie Eilish sometimes. Um, and so I think that's part of it. I also think very few people my age admit that they've made mistakes or
Mm,
that talk about their vulnerability, especially women. I think they're always trying to like keep it light, bright, and tight. And I'm the opposite. I'll put anything out there. And so I think it's just really refreshing for younger people to hear an adult say, hey, I fucked it all up and it's still okay. And to say, because most adults say to them, like, why don't you know what you want to be? Why aren't you going to college? Why aren't you engaged yet? And I'm like, no, fuck all that.
Mhm.
That's not what you want, especially, but live your life. That's what's important. And so I think to the younger generation, like nobody says that to them. That's my age.
Hmm.
that's so true. And they want to, they, there's probably a lot of perfection, like projected onto them.
Oh,
And
imagine growing up with social media. Like people say, why are you so confident? I'm like, because I didn't have social media. If you wanted to tell me that if you hated me, you actually had to come up to me and
right,
say, I hate you. Now
totally.
you could just, sit behind your keyboard and just
Yeah.
just bomb people with insanity. And so, it's hard. I can't imagine growing up with social media where every day of your life is just a comparison to what you don't have or what you should be or how you should look or, you know.
Hmm.
So I
No,
think it was easier for me.
You're like basically giving people permission to be messy.
Yeah.
And so, which I think is important. Like I personally, I just celebrated like 20 years of sobriety on Sunday. And
Oh,
so, yeah,
amazing.
so thank you. And I don't talk about it a lot, but like I made all of the mistakes. I did all of the things like racking up credit card debt, not going to college, getting divorced, like, and all of the stuff. And
Yeah.
somehow things turn, I think they're okay. I
And
think,
people don't, women our age don't talk about that.
yeah.
They want to keep it all neat and tidy. And I don't think life is neat and tidy.
Hmm.
I think you can get there when you admit the mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think at any age, it's great to hear that other people have fucked up. Like mistakes have been made and they've come out on the other side. Like I have also, I mean, even without any substance abuse issues, I've fucked things up here and there in my life, without that much help. So I like hearing it makes me feel like, okay, everything's going to be okay when you hear
Yeah.
other people's stories.
Yeah.
But there's so much content out there. There are so many get ready with me type videos out there that are like, look at my perfect outfit and look at my perfect
Yeah.
body. Like there's way more of that than the
I
type
know.
of content that you're creating. And so I think that's why yours is so refreshing and attractive.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a really interesting ride for sure.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And I think that it's really helpful and healing for a lot of people to hear and just showing up every day the way that you do. And so I want to say thank you, not just
Well,
for the podcast, but also for the content.
well,
So
I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you do as well very much.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Heidi. It's been so
Yeah, of
awesome
course.
chatting with you.
Thank you. And I'm obsessed with your hair, Kristen.
She's
Oh
got
my
great
God, thank
hair.
I've
you.
been trying to get more of my front into the front, but it's just not happening.
Well, you were a total inspiration for me getting bangs because I saw,
Nice.
yeah, I
Oh,
saw
that's
you
right. You
getting,
didn't used to have bangs.
I did not. This was
Well,
like a
your
big
hair is
change for me.
amazing. Amazing.
Thank you so much. I washed it for you.
Thank you. I was trying for you, but then I put a hat on.
It looks super cute. I love the hat.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, I saw you getting your hair cut by
Great.
Jane. Yeah, and I was like, oh, it looks so cool. Like I want to do it. And I finally did it. The woman who cut my hair was trained by Jane.
Amazing. Yeah, she
Yeah.
made a lot of money on that bang trim video.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. She told me. I was like,
Yeah, she told me, she's
Really?
like, you need to go do a style class. And I'm like,
yeah.
There you go. Oh,
I
that's
don't know. I
why,
can't even get people to pay $2 to read my blog. How am I going to get a $90? Here's my style tips. I don't know.
Yeah, I think yeah, she told me the same thing and like I made a class and it didn't do what
No.
hers did.
Yeah.
So
Love you, Jane.
it's okay.
Share your joy with us, but we can't figure it out. But anyway,
Yeah,
but thank you so much. I
yeah, she
appreciate
did.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that your hair looks amazing. So yeah. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Kristen's is awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys.
it was so fun chatting with you. Thanks
Thank
again so
you. I
much.
really appreciate it. I appreciate you finding me and reaching out to me.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
we can meet in person someday.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be awesome. If
San
you're ever up in the
Francisco.
Bay Area, let us know.
Okay. Well, as soon as they build that train that Donald Trump thinks is a waste of money, I'll
Oh my
be
What a
God.
waste of money. We need that train.
now.
We really
So
need that
So
train.
great.
I've been talking about that train for like
I
decades. When
know.
is it going to happen?
All right. Well, I
All
thank
right.
you guys so much. Have a beautiful weekend.
thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
You
Take
too.
care. Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.